Hey guys, it's Sophie.
And Emily, and welcome back to the Girls Watch Girls Play podcast.
Woo!
New location today.
New location. We've moved so far because we're filming in the daytime and the lighting is not doing us.
We've got like a big
Either of us
window
are
here,
being
like
babies.
behind, so it just looked awful from that side.
It didn't look good.
Anyway, this is our flat from the other side of the room.
Welcome.
I like a little pride flag in the back, actually. It looks cute.
It does look cute, but yeah, a bit more exciting background. This is our kitchen.
This is the kitchen living room crossover. Open plan vibes.
Yeah, but yeah, don't let it distract you because we've got a lot to talk about.
Yes. Okay, where should we start? So a few weeks ago, obviously, we had what is it even called?
FIFA
Champions Cup. I forget what it's called every time. So the FIFA Champions Cup happened, and obviously there were 2 games on the same day played at the Emirates on the same pitch, which I thought was interesting in the first thing because like the pitch does get muddled and like after a game and like that's.
Yeah.
But obviously, maybe they just had more groundskeepers on XYZ.
Yeah.
And obviously, yay for Arsenal, big winners.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, girls. But there were big complaints.
Such big complaints. The next week, I think a few days after or something, the Premier League was on, and I think we've been about, like, as in Arsenal men have been a bit out of form. We're obviously still top of the table, and we are still doing well, but in terms of like we've slowed down a little bit, and I think people are trying to find something to blame, and that has resulted in the blame being the pitch.
But the pitch is not just the pitch was bad, it's that the girls need to get off the pitch because they've ruined it for us.
Yeah, like the
go back to Meadow Park.
Go back to Borehamwood.
Crazy things.
Complaints, and like also
you had days.
It's
not like they played that night.
Also, I cannot think of a day. I think there's not been one day this year where it hasn't rained. And this is a Premier League stadium, or obviously Arsenal whole stadium as well. But, you know, this is a stadium at the top of the top. Mm-hmm. It should be able to cope with things like this.
Absolutely, and that's why we have employed groundskeepers. That's their job, to keep the pitch nice.
Yeah.
Like, and if it rains, like things happen. Like we'll get into it later about the waterlogged pitch, but I just can't believe that. Well, I can believe that the first they point at the women, then go, "You ruined my pitch.
You need to get off."
That's crazy.
The women need to stop playing here. That's what people are saying. They need to stop. The women are playing here too much. It just actually baffles my mind. Also, before that, we hadn't played there in a while, and we hadn't played there since I think the Man United game, and then we're not playing there again until now. I think the 21st of March or something.
Right.
That week we will have a few fixtures, I think, at the Emirates.
Even
but
then, it's just like it's not like I really don't understand it because there were days for that pitch to be fixed.
I think it's just a weather issue, right? Like
whatever the weather, babe. What happened to that?
A lot of stadiums have roofs, right? And I don't know, we don't have one, and so like what can you possibly do if it's going to be in a state whether the girls play on it or not? Because that is the state of it, you know.
Also, if you want to talk about like bad pitches, like you can see it in the women's game that sometimes the pitches just aren't up to standard. I mean, we talked about that game last season. Was it the Real Madrid game where they played in Madrid and the pitch was just an absolute like
state.
It was a state and
also,
it was disgusting. But like, you want to complain about like the state of pitches, like you actually sometimes have no idea what you're talking about when it comes to like the men's side. It's like you should see some of the pitches that the top level of professional women's football have to play on.
Even last night, like again, impact of the rain being so bad. Borehamwood, we played there last night for the Champions League game, and the pitch there wasn't great either.
No,
because of the rain. Like unfortunately, it's literally winter time, and it rains here in the UK famously. Like it's shit and it's annoying. But I don't think that you can sit there and say that that's the reason you're out of form. We played against Wolves last night away, and we were up 2-0, and then it ended in 2-2. Like, there's just a problem at the minute, like with form, and like that happens. So we can't be consistent like that all season. Or some teams can, but Arsenal is just not in our
famously blood. It just doesn't happen like that for us.
But you know, like I understand you're trying to find something to blame, but like the first thing they use to blame is the women.
Women, crazy guys. Let's take a think about that. Let's all just take that in and maybe like think about our choices. There are many things to blame. And firstly, I'd go weather. That's my big one.
Yeah.
I like to go, oh God. No, my thing to blame, ref. Ref straight away. That's my top 10 things to blame.
Blame the ref, guys.
2, weather. God, it was awful. 3, never women.
Never.
To be fair, like that would be pretty crazy if I was like, get the women off the pitch.
Also, like, the pitch was used so that your club could win silverware.
I know, and the amount of money that went into Arsenal as a club from winning that competition, like,
It's
guys, have some
crazy.
gratitude.
And also, like, people saying go back to Borehamwood. Oh my God, it'll be dangerous for Borehamwood if all them vans turned up.
Yeah.
You got like 40k people trying to get into a stadium of like capacity, was it like
6K?
No.
No.
Like really low.
Really?
Boreham was really small. So like, no.
It's not happening.
Just don't be stupid.
Also, speaking of men, what the hell, guys? On the YouTube, we had a look at our analytics yesterday. 60% of the people who watch our YouTube podcast are men.
It's like 66%. Hey, man.
Hey, guys.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Hey, guys. What are you doing here? I mean, welcome. I'm glad to have you. But I'm so surprised by that. I really thought this was a podcast with the girlies.
Yeah, especially because I feel like we talk about men quite a lot.
But not like in like maybe in a bit of like a general way. More, yeah. But yeah, well, hey, guys. I'm glad to have you here. I mean, make yourself known in the comments.
If you're a man, yeah, like comment hey.
Oh, or hey, are you hate watching this, or do you actually really like listening to us?
Either way, just like,
comment, subscribe.
Subscribe. And see us on Spotify too.
Moving on to the waterlogged pitch. So Arsenal now have 2 games in hands in the WSL.
Oh, one game is good.
Yeah, because Leicester. We obviously didn't play the Leicester game again because of the Champions Cup. And then the other one is because
Waterlogged
pitch on Brighton, which was cancelled very, very late. I mean, we had friends who had travelled all the way to. You'd think it's Brighton because how lovely is Brighton spend the day?
No,
but it's
Gatwick
Crawley,
Airport.
babe. It's Crawley.
Round the corner from Gatwick.
Yeah, it's Gatwick Airport. So you could catch a flight somewhere else, but
yeah, but
not shitting on Crawley. I just don't really know what you can do there.
you call Brighton and your stadium's in Crawley. It's not very exciting, is it? I just think, look, I understand again the weather is crap. This shouldn't be happening in top flight football anyway.
Yeah.
Period. Everyone knows that. But what you can do is let people know earlier.
Oh my God, it was
like,
awful.
Bro, like an hour and a half before kickoff is crazy. The only reason I knew is because my dad texted me.
Really?
See your game's off. I was like, what? A game's in about an hour and a half.
Crazy.
Surely not.
It's
So
crazy.
I'm waiting for the starting 11 to come out.
Also, like, so many, for Arsenal especially, has like a lot of travelling fans. Like, people do travel with Arsenal. Like, it's one of the big clubs that have a big fan base where people do travel. And also, it's a London-based club. It's only a 40-minute, an hour-long train ride at most to get to Crawley or Brighton. So there will be a large amount of people travelling, and they definitely would have left by then. It's just like a bit shit, isn't it?
It's just like even financially, like the money that trains are like ridiculously expensive.
Oh my God,
days.
they're ridiculous.
Like, it probably would have cost 20 quid.
Daylight robbery.
I'd want my money back.
Yeah.
And it's not Arsenal's fault that the game was called off. And I don't know who do you blame here. Like, is it
Refs.
Brighton? Is it the ref did do the inspection and called the game off? But like, is this like, can they not do it earlier? You know? And I remember like watching a game quite a few seasons ago where it was so icy that players were literally sliding mid-game. It was ridiculous. And the game got abandoned.
Really?
Mid-game because it was so dangerous. But, like, just call them off before.
My favourite game where the weather was really bad. What was that one game? Was it Lauren Hemp or something? Someone was taking a corner and they kept putting the ball down and the ball kept, like, flying away and they had to go...
Christy Mewis?
Was it Christy Mewis?
The corner flag. The wind.
With the whole ball was rolling.
It was her famous moment.
Was it Christy Mewis?
It's a famous moment at West Ham.
Oh my God, I don't remember.
She'll always be remembered at West Ham.
That's so funny. I love watching that video. I can't believe it's Christy Mewis.
Yeah, can they not do more to cancel this game with notice? They know that it's not going to get better.
Yeah.
Like, if it's raining, hey, the pitch looks like shit now. Oh, it's only going to get worse.
But the men's team don't play there, do they?
No, they play in the
So
Emirates.
it's also interesting because it's another going back to the infrastructure of pitches should be able to deal with these types of conditions like roofs on stadiums. Obviously, the Emirates don't have that, but like we should have things in place because the football season will always happen in the winter. That is what happens in the winter. Like we live in a country that is famously rainy.
Yeah.
So surely by now, one, people should learn how to drive in the rain. It happens all the time in the winter. Why can't you drive yet? Two, we should have football stadiums for the top flight of football that should be able to handle bad weather.
There was no men's game on at home that weekend playing in the Amex, like no Brighton game at home. So it was available, like it was possible for that to have been avoided. And it has knock-on effects, you know, Arsenal already have a game in hand. Now we have two. And after this international break, our schedule's tight and we're also, I think, we're going to be down a few players for at least the first week or two.
Yeah, with the Asian Cup.
Because of the Asian Cup, which, you know, just adds more strain to other players. So what we're going to have to deal with now is a really tight calendar, probably 2 games a week for the 3 weeks after international break, which isn't good. And that's, you know, a lot of that is top flight football, Champions League. We've got 2 games against Chelsea to play, and like we want to win that, and that's big. But then also, what kind of chance of competition do we have when we have to play that many games at once? And then what is that? Injuries, like it's knock-on effects of pitches not being up to scratch that could result in someone's being out for the season. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And hopefully it doesn't happen. Touch wood, God.
But it is always like it's not just a game being missed, and that's really frustrating. It then leads to injury risk and stuff when the schedule is so full, and that's already been a big conversation throughout, you know, football, and that's, you know, come to fruition with the conversations around the Subway Cup and that the teams who play Champions, well, you know, that stuff, like trying to sort out the schedule. But if we don't have the infrastructure to have games be played when they're meant to be played, it's just making this whole schedule thing so much worse. It's so much worse. We already know the girls do their knees too often.
Yeah, they do. And the only thing I can think of is, like, thank God there's not a tournament this summer.
Absolutely,
as much as I would love one.
Oh,
I'm
God,
glad.
what am I going to do all summer?
Well, the World Cup's on men's, but boo. Don't go there.
Champions League quarterfinals.
Girls, I'm scared. Girls and men, I'm scared.
Boys.
Boys,
I'm scared. Obviously,
Chelsea.
Arsenal have got Chelsea, so we know that Arsenal can beat Chelsea sometimes. It's happened now.
You know what? I'd be more confident if it was one game.
That's what I'm saying is we know we can do it in a 90 minutes. I don't know if we can do it in 2 legs because I just don't know if we can.
What an exciting thing though. It's like a derby in the Champions League. Like, that is so cool. And I
don't think it's cool enough for me to want it.
Yeah, I'd rather
There's
have
2 derbies though. There's also, well, not.
Yeah, we've got Real Madrid.
To be honest, Real Madrid and Barcelona are not derbies. Technically, they are not derbies.
Well, not because they're not.
They're not the same city, but they are big historical rivalries. But it's not technically a derby.
Yeah, you got 2 in there. You know what? I didn't actually see how the other games went. So give me 1 second. The reason why I didn't know what it was because the games haven't been played yet. They're being played today. But it's Juventus, Wolfsburg. They're currently 2-2 on aggregate. Man United, Atletico Madrid, 3-0 to United. So it's probably the first game. I have no idea how that's going to go. But then Man United seem to be the one going through. I hope for Juventus because Leah Volti.
Yeah, that's what I was literally about to say. I was going to say I want to see Leah Volti continue to play, you know, in the rest of the Champions League season. So
yeah, and then whoever wins out of Man United and Atletico Madrid play Bayern. And then
I can't imagine United beating Bayern though.
I know, but they didn't. I think what was it in? I
can't remember.
I think they played them in the league stage, and I don't think they beat them. And then whoever wins out of Wolfsburg and Juventus will play Lyon.
And yeah,
the thing is, I think this is quite predictable, unfortunately, of how it goes.
It's gonna go.
Except us, I'm not sure. I think it's gonna go Bayern, Barcelona, Lyon,
and Chelsea,
and Arsenal.
No, of course, I am so excited. And look, I want Arsenal to be there till the very end. I just think, bother, that's a lot to play Chelsea twice. Yeah. But hey, our fans are loud. And look,
we got
Chelsea
something going on.
Are so minimal in the crowd, not size-wise, vocally. There are so many Chelsea fans there. They are just very reserved in their screaming, but you know the Arsenal fans can bring it. We can have, you know, what 12th man? What's it called? 12th man.
12th man.
12th man. Yeah, we've got that.
You got it.
And I'll be there. Sophie actually won't be there for both games.
No, yeah, it depends because the games are either on the 24th of March or the 25th. If it's on the 24th, I'll be at the first leg at home, but I won't be there for the second. I'm gonna be in Canada for the final time, which is obviously so exciting for me. But I'm sad I have to miss those games because they're really exciting. I think Jem Beattie obviously does like the Paramount Plus, who also have rights over the Champions League broadcasting, and her prediction was that Arsenal would beat Chelsea, Arsenal would beat Lyon, but Barca would beat Arsenal in the final. How interesting.
This is what I said last year. I just want to be at the final, and then whatever happens, happens. Then obviously we got to experience it. So I'm going to go with the same attitude this year.
Yeah.
I just want to be at the final. Baby girl, I'm going to Oslo. I want to be there.
Be in Oslo.
I have to be in Oslo. If Arsenal are there, I have to be in Oslo.
Yeah. Either way, I have to be there.
If Arsenal aren't there, I'd love to be there.
Yeah.
But if Arsenal are there, I can't be anywhere else in the world. I really can't.
Because that feeling last year, like, I know nothing will ever feel like that again because we've done it, and that was like not the first time, but the first time of my knowledge,
my existence,
that we have.
No,
done
I was
that.
alive the first time. Not that.
Yeah,
not that
I was
young.
like 4. But you know, like that feeling will never be replicated again. But I'd like to get close.
Absolutely, and either way, it's just an incredible experience getting to see your team play in the Champions League final.
Yeah.
And I've always wanted to go to Norway.
Yeah.
So
we really want to go, but yeah, we'll see how tonight pans out, and then the knockouts. Well, it's knockouts now. The quarterfinal.
Yeah.
I'm nervous, but you know, I have faith. We are in good form.
Yes.
But it's international break. I just wish we could play it now.
Yeah.
While we're in good form in Chelsea. I'm not in good form, but I'd say they're having a bit more of a.
So I really need my girls to take it easy over international break. Obviously, that Spain game is going to be really big and important. However, for the other games, I feel like, guys, let's like...
Our bench, I was like, shocking. It was 2 goalkeepers and 5 defenders.
Oh, God. Oh, golly.
Isn't that crazy?
We've got a lot of injuries at the moment, and it makes me very nervous.
And you've got the Asian Cup coming up, and like, I want the Tillies to do well, but I also want them back ASAP.
Yeah, me too.
If they reach the final and win, it means we haven't got them for 3 weeks. But if they get out real quick, we got them.
Hey,
back.
but also think about this. There was Chelsea's also got Ellie Carpenter, Sam Kerr.
Yeah, true.
And they have some Japanese players as well, don't they?
Uh-huh.
Chelsea, who do they have from Japan?
No, because Micah.
No, because Micah's gone to Spurs, hasn't she?
Yeah. I have.
That's all they have, right?
There's a lot of Japanese players throughout the league anyway.
Yeah.
That will be missed. Yui Hasegawa.
Who's City's keeper?
Yamashita.
Yeah, Yamashita.
There's loads of players that are out. But yeah, I don't know if Chelsea will miss Ellie Carpenter.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll miss Sam. I don't think Sam has come back in a huge way. But also, she was out for so long, incredibly long. She was out for so long, and in between those 2 years was the biggest boom in women's football that we've seen happened in those 2 years. So, you know, it will take time for her to get up to form. But I think her going on this competition with Tilly's will do wonders for her, because I think she's an absolute star at Chelsea. But I think there's some people who just play for their countries in a way that, like, you don't always see for their clubs. I don't know if Sam's necessarily that type of person.
She's amazing for the Tillies, and like they missed her a lot when she wasn't playing.
Yeah.
I mean, anything, even in, you know, the World Cup semi-final, they're like losing the game against England, but then Sam Kerr scores like the goal of the tournament.
Yeah.
And like they still lose 3-1, but all that people were talking about was the goal.
It's like Lucy Bronze. I think she's an incredible footballer in club football, but like you don't see anything like how she is when she plays for England.
Yeah,
and I think maybe Lucy Bronze more than Sam Kerr. I think Sam Kerr has shined at Chelsea. You know, like absolutely. I don't want to say like she's just at her best in Australia, but some people are just like born for international football, and I think Sam Kerr, Lucy Bronze, maybe even Chloe Kelly sometimes as a super sub, are just like. Those to me are like famously international footballers.
And I think like with Sam Kerr, I think what Chelsea's problem at the minute right now is like not up front, but like I don't think they're scoring that many goals, and also they're having problems with their forwards up front with a lack of form. Aggie Beaver-Jones
has not been good.
Has not been great recently. Sam Kerr too, and like that's two of their forwards, and then they've also got Ramirez, that's out injured. So that like number 9 is kind of lacking.
I mean, they're looking like they might lose Makario, who plays in a 10, right?
Makario, yeah, she plays as a striker, but then she's been left out the Champions League knockout squad, which is crazy.
But also there's talk about her going to Barcelona as well.
She doesn't want to.
She doesn't want to. If she wants to go to Arsenal, I was thinking that song that we wrote, Macario, there's no cat like Macario. I think I could push that harder if she does move to Arsenal.
I know, but I think she wants to go back to the NWSL. Moving on to the WSL, also low-key like the Premier League too. I don't really know, like Leicester are sat at the bottom right now of the WSL, and luckily that means this year that
are they actually like bone last?
They're 12th,
right?
And then you also have Leicester men that are playing in the Championship of the men's, and they're sat in relegation spot. And we've seen before with male clubs that aren't doing well in their league, that has a knock-on effect on the women's team. That's kind of the first like port of call. Is that the phrase?
Yeah, you are right.
It's the first port of call to kind of make cuts in funding. If Leicester City men's are relegated from the Champions League this season, they'll move down to League One, which is the 3rd tier of men's football, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, genuinely insane. The only reason I saw this was because I saw a photo on like Twitter, and it was like of their facilities that are like amazing. Obviously they were like a Premier League club, now a Championship, and it's like these amazing facilities, and someone being like, I can't believe this like might be a League One team next season.
Yeah.
And I was like, surely not. So then I looked and I was like, oh my God, this is shocking. It happened with Blackburn Rovers. They made funding cuts on their women's team because their men's team were doing poorly, and that's gone awful for them. Blackburn Rovers are doing very poor, even in the league that they're in now, which is like a national league, I don't know, like tier 3 or tier 4. And I'm just interested to see if this will have an impact on Leicester City women.
I think also Leicester City is an interesting one because obviously towards the start of this season there was discussions around their managers, and then obviously Matt Beard was rumoured there before his passing. So it was really interesting that towards the start of the season, I was thinking about them as a club that could potentially be like an underdog this year. Obviously, Matt Beard had a reputation of turning clubs around. And with him being rumoured at the time to be taking over as manager, I really did see good things coming for them. So it is interesting that like they are sitting at the potential of relegation, obviously, for the WSL, and now for obviously Premier League 2, they're looking at relegation from Championship. It just, you do wonder what will happen to their women's squad. And this is not just something that happens in top flight football. You see it all the time with grassroots teams too. On my Instagram, like when I open up my phone on my Instagram, obviously because I follow a lot of like grassroots teams and stuff, I'll get like a recommended post, and it's always like some random grassroots team for kids or for something being like, we're for the betterment of the club, we are having to make the really hard decision to cut our women's team. Like we're just trying to focus on like getting our ducks in the row, and in the end this will be better for the entire club and we'll hopefully bring it back. And it's just like the first point of call is always to take away opportunities from young girls, from women in general, and it's just so disappointing to see. And it is nerve-wracking seeing these types of things happen in top flight football as well. Even you see it with Liverpool, women's team is just doing so badly, they just don't put funding in there. Obviously their men's team is one of the greatest clubs in the history of football. I would say with Liverpool men's club is such an incredibly famous historical club, and to see their women's team also sitting in a battle of relegation in the WSL, it's like, what are we doing, guys?
And for Leicester, I think like if they manage to scrape, to stay in the WSL, will they meet the needs that need to be met? Because will there be like funding cut? What will happen? And we're seeing a lot with women's teams at the minute get bought by companies or sub companies of clubs. So we saw that happen with Chelsea women a few seasons ago. They've been bought by it's still Chelsea, but like another company, so that they can something about Premier League profits. I don't really understand the math.
Obviously, we worked with Bristol recently, and they're owned by Mercury 13, who also own Como in Italy, and they're interested in just like they're looking for women's clubs in particular.
Exactly.
And then obviously you've got Michelle Kang, who's starting her own little empire of women's teams, and you do see the women's teams who have individual investments and that are separated from their men's clubs seem to be doing really well.
And Birmingham have just been bought as well, which they're kind of sat looking like they're going to be promoted to the WSL, which comes at a good time, which is quite exciting. You don't want the failures or, the failures of one team to impact the other. You don't want the women's to impact the men's, and you don't want the men's to impact the women's. Yes, one club mentality, but also not one club bank,
Yeah.
And I just really hope that Leicester's I hope what they don't do is what has been done often in the past. Obviously we don't know yet, but it would be a big shame. There's some amazing players playing at Leicester, quite a young squad as well. So yeah, it'd be really surprising. I feel like it's quite a niche thing to happen, isn't it? You've got both of your teams sat in relegation spots, and what can you do? Maybe it's clearly within the club. They're not.
There's obviously some kind of internal problem there.
Yeah.
What is not working? Obviously, I'm not someone to be able to tell a club what's not working in their internal structure. That means both of their men's side and their women's side are sitting at relegation, and the men's side in particular looking to move down even from the Championship.
It's crazy.
Especially used to being a Premier League club. It's just
and also like Leicester. Like I'm trying to think like what other clubs are around Leicester. In London, we've got loads of clubs here, but in Birmingham we've got Villa and we've got Birmingham City, but in Leicester there's just Leicester. So
but I mean it's not far from places like Birmingham and stuff as well.
What does it mean like for fans? Like if the club I supported, so if Arsenal like women went from WSL to WSL 2, and then down to the National League, I'd be like, what is happening to my club? Like I don't even know if I want. Not that I don't want to be a part of it anymore, but like what the hell is going on?
But you miss out on atmosphere, you miss out on
competition.
You do, and you also just miss out on little things like marketing and funding and events and like the kind of excitement that comes with coming from a game. Obviously there are like things that clubs do to make their games exciting. They do activations, they obviously not just like competing in major competitions, but it's also that, and then a lot of your favorite players will go because they can't afford to pay them anymore because they're in tier 3 football. Things like that happen, and a club will quickly lose itself to relegation like that, like to a major relegation like that.
I think it's a shame, and I hope that the teams, both of them, manage to kind of beat relegation this time. Probably for the benefit of the women, because it probably will be the first thing that is changed in order to make them better,
to keep a club afloat in general.
To keep them afloat. But
it would be interesting change. Obviously there is more money always coming in through men's sides of football. It's just more viewership and all that stuff. There's just more money in the game. It would be interesting to have a severe loss of funding in the women's side when they would be just moved to Championship rather than the men's or another tier below. Yeah. And even compared to Premier League and WSL, I mean, the Premier League's a lot bigger than WSL club-wise. Like, how many teams are in the Premier League? 16 or something?
20.
There are 20 clubs in the Premier League, and there are 12 in the WSL. So, like, dropping that far down in a men's team, like, it's interesting that the choice could potentially be loss of funding or dissolution of a women's team. I'm not saying that there's rumours of dissolution, but, like, is that the word? Dissolution? Dissolving the women's team? Like,
dissolving, yeah.
Is dissolution a word?
I don't know.
I don't know, guys.
It is now.
I'm not saying like there's any rumours of that, but that does happen. But maybe potentially that happens more in grassroots football. Then obviously there'd be huge outrage if that happened to a team that would, if it goes down, would potentially have been, a WSL club. But it is interesting, and it's something to keep an eye on, guys. Time to talk about evil men, because there's a lot of things going on at the moment with evil men in the world.
Yes.
The world, every time I open my phone, there's like evil man alert, evil man alert. Yep. Let's talk about the one that relates to this podcast the most, and that is Jim Ratcliffe.
We mentioned it last week, but I feel like it needs to be talked about
Absolutely.
a lot more. He is a very powerful, very rich man, billionaire.
Doesn't pay taxes.
No, doesn't pay taxes.
So if you're not aware, first of all, how are you not aware? But he made some really insane comments about the UK being colonized by immigrants, which is absolutely insane. And I just think it's so crazy to have those opinions when you're an important person in the world of football. Football is what it is because of immigrants. I mean, even like not even just within clubs. I mean, obviously Premier League, WSL, it's like football is what it is because we have people come from all different types of countries to come play in what I think are the best leagues in the world.
Yeah.
And even when you look at national teams, I mean, people are families, their families are immigrants. They come from immigrant families of generations, for example. Not even everyone who plays for England has all their family is originally born from England. If you look way back, like people who represent your country and you would put your heart on the line for to represent your country aren't necessarily historically from here as well. I mean, football would be nothing without immigrants. England would be nothing without immigrants. The UK would be nothing without immigrants. We are a country that's built up like by immigrants for immigrants. Like it's a and you look at a city like London, and it's such a great multicultural city, and it would not be what it is without immigration. And I just think it's an insane take to have, especially in the world of football.
Also, is an absolute hypocrite. Like, he can't sit there and say, like, all I've seen are the stats of the tax he paid, £0.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind, he's a billionaire.
Absolute billionaire. But he doesn't even live in the UK. He lives in like fucking Monaco or something.
So he's an immigrant.
He doesn't even fucking live here. Like, how do you know what's going on here? You don't even fucking live here.
God.
You're actually just such a twat. I'm sorry, guys. I actually have nothing like...
nothing
you know, when you have
yeah.
like, I can't even like educationally speak. I can't even like, eloquently articulate this subject. He's just like such a hypocritical dickhead.
And the backlash that kind of poured out of it was obviously rightfully so. There was a lot of it, you know. But I thought what was interesting was, you know, all the players and all, not even just the players, like the club, like Man United came out and said stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, the club that he partially owns has said stuff out of, you know, against him, which, yeah, good, they should. But, you know, things like players saying that they refuse to play for him until XYZ, partnerships being threatened, you know, so like Adidas, for example. Good, I'm glad that companies are, you know, fucking doing something about it and threatening, because things like that, you know, can't be tolerated. And especially in the context of football, it genuinely is like so tone deaf and stupid. And how can you, if you are against it, how are you, you know, you're investing in it?
It's crazy. Also, immigration is such an interesting like take to have, because the immigration that these bigots are often in reference to is just racism.
Yes.
I'm sorry, they don't have a problem with the Australians in Clapham overstaying their visa.
Yeah.
But they do have a problem with people who've been here for years, or visas or passports. It is just a racism problem. Like people, like it is, I don't know how else to articulate that, but at the end of it is always never against, well, hardly ever an issue against white immigrants.
Yeah.
It is a racist problem. And we've seen racism pop up within the last week again within
reoccurring.
Within the Champions
crazy.
League with
Vini.
with the Benfica. Who was it that said it? I can't remember.
I don't know. All I saw was a quote of Mbappe being like, number 25, I'm not saying his name because he doesn't deserve it.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know what? He doesn't deserve it. I'm not saying his name either. Or he does, because I want to call him out.
Yeah, it's like name and shame, but also he doesn't deserve the platform.
Yeah.
But yes, so there was an incident where repeated, like racist remarks were being said in this game at the top level of football. This is Champions League. And it also shows like maybe it doesn't have a direct correlation with what's been going on with things that Jim Ratcliffe is saying. But if people at the top can get away with saying these kinds of things.
And he says it under his shirt. He knows it's wrong. If you're saying something to be hidden, you know, you can't.
If you're going to say something, say it.
Say it, but also obviously you don't.
Yeah.
But you're hiding, you're going to look suspicious. And then I've seen things like the like Argentina, how do you say it?
Argentinian?
Yeah, the Argentinian like press have said he was saying hermano, which means brother. Why are you hiding it then? Also not true, because everyone around you heard what you said. But also, why is this being reported? Like, you just sound stupid. Like, you just have to, you know, sometimes people from that you like or thought were good people don't do good things and are actually, you know, whatever, racist, homophobic, etc. And that doesn't mean you stand and support them or defend them. You know, you have to do what's right and call them out. And obviously it was reported to the ref, and FIFA have a protocol in place called, I think it's the No to Racism protocol, and if a ref does this, then that means it's been called. It's like an X with your hands if anyone's listening. And then there are like steps in place to kind of see if the game can go ahead. There's 3 steps. The ref does that? Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So if this X is made, it means racist abuse has been reported to the ref.
Referee stops the match. If the abuse continues, the match is suspended with all players leaving the pitch. Persistent abuse leads to the match abandonment.
So those are the 3 steps, and the first one was taken. The game was stopped for 10 minutes, and then for some reason it went ahead. I did wonder, because I didn't actually know about this protocol before seeing it online, but I saw one of the players said, like, what's the point in stopping it for 10 minutes? If you're going to do something, then stop the whole game. And I was like, oh, what do they mean? Like, I didn't like know it was like a thing. But yeah, stop the whole game. What the fuck? Like, abandon the game. I understand it's a Champions League game, but also you have this protocol in place.
There are things that are bigger than Champions League games, and that is like racial abuse.
Yeah, exactly. And so, yeah, I think the game should have probably been abandoned. If they're going to have this protocol in place for that reason, then you have to see it through.
Absolutely.
And obviously it means that there's going to be an investigation, etc. And I think also what was more of a shame, and also has been on the headlines as well, was what the manager of Benfica came out and said.
Absolutely. It's just disappointing to see. Everything's just been really disappointing. And I've seen a lot, you know, who's great on these things is Versus.
Oh yeah.
If you don't follow Versus, it's a great place to get like these kind of news from and like responses from. I mean, Versus is one of my favorite accounts out there that talks about these kinds of things. What was I going to say? Yeah, and they were saying like it needs to. This is also this reoccurring thing of like black fatigue and black people having to constantly explain why things are wrong, and they need to be the ones to stop and you know, address things, when it should be up to us to be the ones to educate ourselves and know what we can do and use our voices to be involved, and to not leave it up to people who are victims of racism to defend for themselves all the time. Like,
yeah, I've said it before and I can never remember the phrase I say.
Allyship is passive, advocacy is active.
I don't know. Guys, I say something and I can never remember what it is. I should write it down on my phone. But what it basically means is active allyship is so important.
What can you, as a person watching in person, do, for example? There are ways to report racist abuse or any kind of abuse that you see, any kind of antisocial behaviour you see. Yes, you can report things through Kick It Out, and you can always report to stewards. And
a lot of stadiums have their own protocols in place, and often they'll be shown on the screens in the stadiums. They'll also often be on the back of seats. I know they are at the Emirates. So yeah, report it. Don't be afraid to, because you know that if you stand there and say you're an ally but don't do anything, then you're not being very.
Also, if you're not sure whether to report things, my belief is always, if it doesn't feel right, report it, and it's up to the people whose jobs that is what to do about it after that. But you don't want to go home and be like, oh, maybe I should have just do something about it. If something's making you uncomfortable, if you think that's not right, do something about it. Do something about it. That's all you can do, is do something about it. And if you feel safe enough, say something yourself, but always remember to think about your safety and the safety of others around you as well. So don't put yourself into any dangerous situations, but it is important to stand up for what you think is right and also take the right protocols. So if you're traveling to a stadium, you're traveling to your home stadium, you know, look up what the protocols are, just so you know what to do if you see something like that. And also, if you're traveling as an away fan, maybe look up what they have going on in their stadium for things you can do, things you can report, so you know what to do straight away if that happens to happen.
Yeah, but the most important thing has been it needs to stop, and it's one of them things that just keeps coming up. And I think when powerful figures like Jim Ratcliffe project their opinions like that, which obviously have a racist tone behind what he's saying, that, you know, if people like that are owning clubs and obviously feed into like the nature of the club, this isn't something that's gonna stop. And people like him actually need to just get out. I don't care how much money you have.
Also, we spoke about this last week with scary things happening in the US, and it's important to look in your own backyard, and it is happening in the UK, as you can see. Also, some very scary things coming out with reform and what they want to do with the, what's it called? The Equality Act. They're wanting to completely throw away the Equality Act, and that encompasses racism, misogyny, any kind of discrimination, homophobia in the workplace, in life, in pay increases, etc. So, you know, it's important to still be aware with what's going on in your backyard. I know it can be, you get a lot of news about what's going on in the US, and it can be all about pointing fingers and being like, that what's going on there is awful, but it's coming here, and you can see it getting worse here. So knowing what's going on in your own backyard is really important. And also, fuck reform. If you fucking vote reform, fuck you, go get a life. So, good segue to what I wanted to talk about today was a Leah Williamson story that she posted recently. I've got it on my phone. I'm just going to read it out to you. So it was a reshare of just someone's Instagram that she just posted on her story. And it says, a woman without a political opinion is comfortable only because other women before her fought, bled, and spoke, while she quietly enjoys the shelter and pretends the storm isn't hers. And I just thought, love the message. But Leah, let's be real. What have you said before? What have you used your enormous platform to advocate for that wasn't a repost on Instagram and directly benefited yourself?
The silence is because we can't think of one.
Genuinely, like, I really like Leah Williamson, but I think a lot of footballers stay silent about things I think you cannot stay silent about. Surely you cannot stay silent about this. And they do. For example, one of the main things I remember thinking was, obviously, the genocide in Gaza has been happening for a very long time now. And there was one point where I guess all footballers suddenly got permission to post one thing about it. And everyone reshared this one AI photo that just said, all eyes on Rafa. And I just thought, this isn't fucking good enough, guys. This isn't good enough.
Nope.
And that's the only thing I've ever seen any of them say about Palestine. And maybe other things. Like, I just don't think she stands up for much.
And I think, why is this a contract issue you have with companies? But then what if you have such beliefs? Why are you working with companies? This isn't just exclusive to her. This is all people in the industry.
I just think that post in itself is just like,
why have you posted it?
That's just, I think it was a tasteless post, because I'm like, you haven't said anything. Like, if you're going to be one of those celebrities who are just apolitical, like, I'm here to play football, I don't have a political stance on anything, then that's your choice, and that's what you've done. But you can't be like, women without a political opinion is like only silent because everyone else has done the work for you.
But you're being silent.
What work have you done?
Yeah.
Like, she's done little things like with the endometriosis stuff. I thought that was really important that she, you know, spoke up about, you know, getting proper healthcare for endometriosis and raising awareness on that. That is something that directly affects her.
Yeah.
And I can't really think of many other examples apart from young women in sport that directly affects her.
Even like homophobia.
Yeah.
The LGBTQ plus.
She doesn't say much.
She's spoken out a little bit about the rainbow armband.
Okay, I'm going to bring up my number one girl again, Kirsten Kasperai. Kirsten Kasperai is the only footballer who made a stance on trans women being excluded. Kirsten Kasperai probably has a similar PR agent, like probably not the same one, but they all are under, maybe it's like, it's a PR thing, they can't say this, they can't say that. People have PR agents and they still have political stances and they still do things and say things and stand up for what's right, even when it doesn't directly affect them.
I think surely this has to be a problem with higher things more powerful than them. Surely. I'm thinking okay, so Chapel Roan, for example, she speaks out a lot politically. Is she with a record label?
She's just left her record label because he was in the Epstein files.
There you are. So she's an independent artist. She's very loud politically. And I think when you don't have people higher above you, is it easier to speak?
But she was speaking out a lot when she was under this one record label. And the only reason she's left is because she stands up for what's right, and she's made a political stance by saying, I don't want to be part of this. This person was in the Epstein files. Like,
even at like all the awards, what were the recent awards? The
Grammys?
Grammys?
Yeah.
Pretty much every speech there says something political.
Not necessarily every speech. There were a lot of people who had a stance on ICE there.
A lot of the ones I saw.
Yeah.
Because obviously that's what
we're looking for.
That's what I'd be seeing. Even things like that, like awards get collected by footballers, and I don't see anything political being said then. You know what I mean? Like even then,
football is political, and I will die on this hill that football is always going to be political, especially women's football. The fact that women are allowed on the pitch and can play a sport for professional gain and financial gain is a political is due to politics. The fact that I can have a bank account is politics. Like things that don't affect me, it's all politics. Like, I don't know, I just don't think you can suddenly reach out and be like, don't ever stay silent. Say something then. Write something yourself.
Yeah.
Put something on your story or on your board, or say something when you're collecting awards. Say something in an interview. Say something that you have come up with yourself about your beliefs and what you want to stand up for.
Yeah, because even like, Fallon Tullis-Joy spoke out in a press conference, following on from what we spoke about with Vini and the racist abuse he received in the game last night. And, she sits and she speaks about that, and, there you are, a player speaking out.
Yeah.
But it's also, another player of colour speaking out about an issue that,
it will affect her.
Yeah.
But it should be also something that white players are speaking about. Yeah. It shouldn't just be something that black players have to talk about, is racism and how bad racism is. Like, okay.
Yeah.
That shouldn't have to be you shouldn't have to be the only person speaking about that.
Mm-hmm. And there's so much going on.
So you captain this country. I'm
that's
sorry.
What I was going to say.
Immigration
so
and
much
stuff.
Going
like,
on in this country, and you captain it.
You captained this country to glory twice on the European stage, and you haven't said anything about Jim Ratcliffe, from what I know.
No.
So I don't know. I just think. Yeah, I'm going
say
back.
Say something or don't say something.
Yeah, and I think you always should say something. But that post felt tasteless to me, and I really like Leah. I do, and I still like her. But I just that post did rub me the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're going to be an apolitical figure, then I don't think anyone should be an apolitical figure. I don't think anyone should be apolitical. I think that is exactly what she posted, is people who are apolitical are only that way because they live in the luxury that other people have done the work for them. But that's what she's saying. So be part of the people who do the work, I think.
But I also think I could never work for or be in deals with or institutions where I'm not allowed to speak what I want to say.
Yeah.
Where my opinion has to be held back.
For sure, maybe on their platforms.
Me. The only time I see players speak out is when one of their teammates has been racially abused.
For sure. And I think the action we can take from that is that this is an ongoing issue, so it should be an ongoing conversation. We shouldn't just have things to say when it's reactive. It should be necessarily like preventative. I don't know if that's the right word, but if we continue talking about the problems within the institution, then it's like, for example, this is kind of going off topic into a different kind of discrimination, but the homophobia thing, like they did the Pride campaign, and that was not in reaction to abuse. Obviously, abuse followed from that. But like, we need to keep having these campaigns and these important people and influential people speak out about problems that are ongoing instead of just being like
performative.
Yeah, like that was bad. Don't do that again.
Yeah.
Like, this is an ongoing issue. It should be an ongoing conversation.
That is it for this week. We hope you enjoyed. And remember, please subscribe.
Yeah,
a few of you listened last week.
Yeah, subscribe again. Also, boys.
Subscribe, boys.
It was nice to speak to you guys. It's been a heavy few weeks.
It has, but you know that's the shape of the world right now. So.
The shape of the world, the shape of the game as well. I mean,
we aren't silent about it. So
yeah, I like that.
I like that too.
If there's anything else you guys want us to particularly talk about, like our DMs are always open, and we would love to connect with more of you who are following. Like I obviously I've been a silent listener of lots of podcasts, but it's really nice to hear from you guys as well. So DMs are open, message us. Love to hear from you guys and what your thoughts are. We'd love to do
like a little thing where like agony on or like
something. Q&A kind of vibes.
We could love to do that. So yeah, I don't know if anyone's actually. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
But anyway,
bye.
Have a good week, guys. Bye.